First thing you need to know, and I'm going to blast it everywhere until every woman understands this. Fix your face and wear a crown. Because when you wear a crown, you can't look down. So remember that. Life likes to throw little hard balls at us, and sometimes we forget who we are. And it's time that we remember who we are and love all of our uniquenesses, everything that makes us. And so, my birthday is the 31st of October. Y'all know what that means. I'll let you know when I want that. I have a surprise in a little bit. But right now, we are going to try to figure out how to get this to stand up so that we can actually do this without too much. And it's dinging. Hold on, because I also have to make sure my phone is charging, because it likes to be a pain in my rear. I think that's going to work. So we just got to make sure we get it. Okay, I think it's charging now. No, it's playing with me. Come on, phone. Don't be this way. Okay, it's charging now. Yeah, my phone. Somebody decided I needed a magnetic phone charger. And it turns out there's a lot of little magnetic particles everywhere. Sorry about that. We are outside. It's my favorite time of year, after all. Well, one of my favorite times. I can't ever make my mind up between Halloween season and the spring. Yes, it's not fall, it's Halloween season. That's it. Period. Play, play. So anyways, yesterday I did kind of a 101 on Facebook about how to do a simple beaded object. And I need my pliers. I don't know where they're at, but I need them. I was going over checking my work, and I noticed I made a little bit of a mistake. And it's a mistake that I'm going to show you how I'm going to fix this mistake. Because I forgot I put the beads in there. Oh no, I put loose beads in there. Yikes. I was listening to spooky songs before I came on. And I listened to the Sanderson sisters singing I Put a Spell on You. And I listened to Hanging Tree. And I listened to Sally's song and Come Little Children. So, it's exciting. Thank you. I was having a good old time with them. I have not been quite myself, but let me tell you something. It being spooky season and all, and the fall has finally fallen, I'm feeling very renewed, very excited. This has always been one of the most awesome times of year for me. And it's not just because my birthday is Halloween, although that is fun. So anyways, I'm gonna untwist everything. Come on. It's a lot more string than I thought I actually had out, because I knew I didn't need a super lot of string for this. So this is the start of a flower that I was going to put several layers of petals on, just a simple flat design. Now this I started working on a live on Facebook, and I made a mistake at one point. There's supposed to be it's supposed to be 5-1 in the middle, which it is. It goes 5-1, 5-1, 5-1, and so on until you have five little separate little, you know, focal points to separate the pieces so you can move on, because let's face it, nobody wants to try something and mess up because they're making something all the same color. And if you make it all the same color, you're going to be counting a lot more. Thank you. But I did make one mistake, and it's on the first petal. And I'm going to show you how to fix it. And it's a very simple fix, and it's going to seem a little barbaric, but I do have to find the right petal because one of them has right there. This this petal right here has an extra bead on this side. And as you can see, it didn't keep its lavender color either. The inside of that bead did not, for some reason, because it's lavender and peach, the color of the flower that I'm working on. Um, so I'm lucky that that's the side that has the bead that's going to have to be separated. Sometimes the color, when you put you make really nice beads, sometimes if the color's on the inside, depending on how it sat or whatever, sometimes the color just comes out of it because that's a center colored bead. And normally I don't have that problem with this particular brand because it is a type of Japanese seed bead. They're usually awesome. But still, sometimes things can happen and you need to know how to fix the things that happen. So I'm going to show you without having to take this whole thing apart, because this is the very first petal, which means I'd have to take all the petals off in order to fix this if I was going to do it that way. So, ooh, you got your handy dandy pliers, which you can also use if it's getting stubborn and it doesn't want to come through fully, like if your fingers are slipping but there's still room. If it gets too stuck, don't try this. Just go back through. If it does, something like that happens and it's not a point of an excess bead, it's just one of the beads is not working, you're going to have to come back and fix it manually. But this is an easy fix for a simple problem. And I need to cut my nails because they're getting in my way. But anyways, you just grab the excess bead between the pliers and maybe close your eyes or turn your head. Don't do it near your face, but and the bead itself, let's get it where it's focused, is gone. And now it's 414 again. And this is the point where you just, because it was the first layer, you have, you want at least 2 layers of string through everything so it holds a better form. And I told them last night, where's it at? Where's the spider line and the fire line? I use spider and fire line because uh, they're multi filaments. They're not singular filaments because the small needles. Let's see. Let's try it with I need a fresh needle real quick. Thank you. Thank you, my dear. Come here. My sister kid's with me, and I gave her her own crown. Don't worry about that. It's really, I mean, you can watch what I do. There's other things. Definitely do other crafts. I just thought I'd go over this one today. Okay. That's the side with the eye on it. That's why it looks strange at the very tip. I'm trying to get it to where you can see the eye, and there's just no way. It's just too small. And these are very thin, so they end up looking like this. This one I retired, but I did not throw it away. I'll use it to like pull other beads out. Now, you see this? This is a serious mama right here. This is a 10 gauge, long. My husband got me long needles the last time he got me needles, and I'm like, those are kind of intimidating because I've spent the last 20 years using another one that is bent because, ooh, oh no, oh no. You never want to lose them. And this one's bent close to the eye because I was weaving with this one, like small weaving. Oh, I think I actually got it to where you might have been able to see the eye a little bit. So, yeah. It can seem intimidating. It really can. I mean, when I first seen a beading needle, I laughed at it. I was like, oh, yeah, I'm never going to be able to do that. Are you nuts? That's what I told him. I was like, no, no, this is insane. But, you know, it got to the point where I just started doing it, and now I can bead the needles with one eye closed, so, which they say is impossible. It's not. You just have to do it for a long period of time. And I was used to really flimsy sewing string and the smaller sewing needles, the really small sewing needles, and their eyes aren't that big either. So I guess my mom got me started early with sewing. I liked sewing. My mom thought I was going to be a freaking clothes designer, not a jewelry designer. Yeah, the beading, 20 years. I have been beading for 20 years. And every time I say it sounds crazy. I know. Like, well, almost 20 years. November, it will definitely be 20 years, so. And I got started. I was painting before that. I'd been painting off and on since 16, but what I was doing when I was 16 was not skilled. It was all purely kind of therapeutic. And so I was kind of a darker teenager, very gothic, so there was a lot of black involved there. I mean, I wasn't depressed or anything. My mom thought I was. See, that's not. You're still new. You'll get it. I know it can seem intimidating, but once you get to it, you'll be great. You just have to give yourself a chance and not let it frustrate you. You know, you just try and try. So yeah, let me get back to the string. That the eyes are the reason of the needles are the reason I use this. Let's see, the top of this one is really frayed, but that's okay because what you want to do before you stick it through a little needle is you want to. This is why I like the braided multi-filaments instead of single filaments, because you're not going to get a single filament through most needles like that. And so you can't really bead on the string if you can't get it through your needle and you want to do more than just, a simple strand, which simple strands are awesome. I still like doing simple strands. It's not called, well, it is easier than the bead weaving, but it's not called simple because sometimes it can be a little difficult too, depending on what you're using. But I use fishing line, multi-filament fishing lines, because you see how the string is now flatter in a longer place and it's less frayed looking at the top. That was only after a few swipes of my nail. I'm trying to get used to the way the camera sits when I'm doing this, because it won't let me sit it on the side and do this. It makes me sit it upright. So I'm still learning the curve of my phone, and eventually, hopefully, I'll have it to get a camera that'll actually be really good for doing lives, and a computer setup. That will be great. But for now, it's me learning how to do this on my phone. But there we go. Sorry, I keep getting my face way up in the camera trying to show. So we're going to put my finger behind it. It's still blurry. Hold on, I think I know what I need to do. I'll be right back. I'm going to see if there's a little dust on the camera or something, because I've been sitting out here for a minute. Come on, camera. Be nice. Hopefully that's a little better. And see, this is the fire line. This is the spider line I was just showing you. And as you can see, definitely got it on the very tiny, thin, flimsy needle. So I do recommend, if you want a bead, especially if you want to see about getting a little more complicated, just get good at beading the string. I mean, stringing beading the string. That's it. Just bead the string. No. Get good at threading a a multi-filament, like I said, spider line or fire line are my two go-tos. Some people use Nymo. I'm not a fan of Nymo, so I don't use it, because for me, it does not. I'm glad. That's why I'm doing this. I want people to, experience the joy that there's so many things in the world that bring everybody down. Just bringing people inspiration and joy and just fun. I'm not trying to be all serious all the time. I have a 7-year-old who like totally went gaga when he seen me come out. He was like, "Mommy, you're beautiful and you smell good." I was like, "Well, smelling good's a good thing, I promise." I was wearing perfume. Not was. I put on some perfume just because, sometimes it makes you feel special. So, you, so perfume, my buddy, you know, filling mommy's head with more sweetness, and now I'm going to do a quick change. I'm going to show you something else, and it is my favorite thing that's not on my head right now. Sometimes you just have to be a little magical. But still, I recommend you hold your head up high. This is absolutely adorable. This is like my favorite Halloween hat ever. But yeah, sometimes you have to shake it up a bit. And that's what I do. I used to always be afraid to do things, but you gotta go with the excitement sometimes. You can't just sit there and freeze. And always just try to enjoy your day. I mean, I could sit here and tell people what's on my mind that's, makes me sad, but I think I'd rather make people happy, because that makes me happy. Okay, so now I gotta figure out which way I was going, because I know, okay, yeah, there's a little extra string now. And that's all you have to do. You'll be like, oh, there's extra string, but there's really not. That was the first go through, so you can pretty much tighten everything back up at that point. And like I said, I will definitely show you the simple, it's a simple ring. It was just a ring in the middle. And like I said, I use 5 of one color, 1 of another, 5 of one color, in that order. 5, 1, 5, 1, until you have 5 beads, singular beads on. You have the 5 beads and then the 1 bead. So put the 5 on first and then the 1. That way when it comes all the way back around, when you loop it back around, the circle has 5. Um, I've tried this with, I do 4s when I make little cute crosses and stuff. But definitely, as you can see, that is a very simple flower, and you can do so many things with them. And you can use them, you can cluster them, like leave it a single flower and cluster them, and make anything really. You can make a pretty pattern to put on top of like a runner. If you're going to do that though, might I recommend it not be a runner that you're designing, that you're going to put food on or anything heavy. But if you want to design a piece of fabric, or like you want to do something like this, and you want to have your objects do a cluster of flowers or singular flowers to sew them in, things like this work well. You don't have to be good at doing the bead weaving on the fabric. You can just make the shape, and then you take the needle and you go through the fabric and you bring it up close to wherever you want to tack it and put it through the bead and back through the fabric behind that bead. I will show y'all that one day. I don't have anything I'm working on right now for that. So, there's that. Yes, Halloween is one of my favorite times of year, and the weather is kind of overcast and cool today, so I was like, yeah, this feels like this is cool. I'm a goober, I know this. It's okay to not be, I guess, so serious all the time. Try on a few hats. Yeah, I mean, I have a bowler too, so, and I have a few fedoras. Maybe one day I'll let my hair down and wear a fedora online. I don't know. Um, for someone who usually just walks around with their hair pulled up in a clip, it's fun to be different. So anyhow, so when we get through, you know, I did not the bottom circle. See, I used to get panicked and think, oh no, it's going to come apart. It's going to come apart. Oh no, it's going to come. No, it's not. You just have to, the middle, I think I actually did 3 circles through. And if you use a multi-filament line, you can actually push the tip of the needle through a part of the braided thread, and it'll lock without putting a knot that can throw everything off whack. I used to be the knotting queen. I was like, it's a good thing my dad was in the Navy and taught me a bunch of knots, because let me tell you something, my jewelry was not coming apart for nothing, and I thought that was necessary. And then I learned you can make a quality item, beaded item, without causing yourself so much stress, wondering if you knotted it, if it's right. So I try to only knot things at when I put it on a clasp, to make sure the clasp is secure. Because if you do it like this, you'll keep pulling it a little at a time, which will definitely make it easier to create. Matter of fact, there's a little fray right there. When I'm done, I will take and just remove that. Usually I put the end of the thread all the way through. I'm not worried about a little bit of this thread from the beginning sticking out. I will fix that when I'm done, unless it starts working its way. Because sometimes that's what happens. It works its way through the beads. And then you're good. Okay, so see, it got stuck when I put it through that bead. It's not super stuck. My hands just don't grab it very well. So what you do is you gently, don't yank too hard, gently pull it through. And make sure it's not tangling around the piece. And I just did something weird. Yes, I did. Hold on. I was holding it too close and I got it tangled. There we go. And that's another thing. If you get it tangled, don't stress it. Just go back down, and if it looks too tangled, you just take the end of the needle, you push it in, and you pull it at the strings until you find the one that starts coming. And that's the string you usually have to work out. At least a part of the string. I have knotted things to the point where I'm like, I used to get so frustrated with it. And to be honest, I've learned not to let it get to me and just get it untangled. So, as I said before, I'm definitely going to be adding the string all the way through these, but as you can see, that one's already on this side, a smoother petal shape. And there's two schools you can do this, but with one of them, you definitely really should use a larger bead for your the offset single bead on the first row. You might want to go up just a little bit on the size, because you can do the single row of petals, tiny petals, and then behind it you can go with a larger and do it that way, and it'll be a stacked look. And things like that are really, really good for learning how to make beaded bezels and just to make 3D pretty things that you are proud of. So, but yeah, I'm going to take the hat off. Because wearing anything when I'm actually beading is really, really difficult. But I figured it's the season to be a little festive, so why not? So anyhow, yes, you can take and put the 5 in one, and when you put the 1, you can get a size up bead. You don't want to size up too much. You don't want it to be really noticeable, but enough to get more strings through. If you want to do a lay and have it kind of, because if you keep the string pulling tight like that, what you'll end up with is it'll kind of cup like that, and the tiny petals will be up here, and you'll have, and things like that are really, really cool for like designing something for someone who is, or yourself, for a celebration. You can use them for a pretty hair barrette. um, I will definitely do that one day. I will definitely work on a series for that, but that probably won't be on lives. That'll probably be classes. And all you have to do is go find the 10-minute videos, and I can do them in 10-minute increments. And that should work. Or I can just go make the video on camera and then upload it. And just, give practice on each part before you go on to another part. Because the one thing I hate when I'm learning things is trying to follow through with somebody who's just rushing, who doesn't give you time at your own pace. And that's why I like videos like showing, and it'll be my hands and my beating pad, not me talking like this. Well, talking through the project, yes. Probably won't make too much commentary other than those, because they will be strictly to help people who want to learn how to do something. So I definitely wanted to touch on that. Friday on Facebook, I'm going to be showing how to do the double flat flower look, because it'll look more like a mandala this way. I'm doing a more of a mandala one, and I did not explain to them on Facebook what I just explained here on YouTube. So there's that, but it'll look kind of like a medicine wheel or mandala. It'll be flat, but they're really good for different projects. Like I said, it's not just jewelry, but I think I'm going to make these into a pair. I'm going to make 2 of them, and I'm going to put streamers with little crystals on them and make them into earrings, because I think that'd be really cool. Who doesn't want flower earrings, right? Well, some people, but they're not who I'm talking about. I grow plants every spring. It's probably why I can't make my mind up between fall and spring, to be honest with you. Just the excitement of all the colors and everything in the fall, and then you got the excitement of all the colors and everything in the spring. Gosh, I am a sap. It's okay. I like beautiful things, and I love nature, so hey. Excuse me. My coffee just tried to drown me. So yeah. Any questions? Anything? Because that was the first half of my video. Or my live. Unless people start talking. But for real. It's not hard. Once you get the pattern down, or the idea. Once you get the thoughts down and the basics of the tools you use, nobody's going to be able to stop you. I, at one point, thought it was too out of reach for me. And I know I've showed what I do. So obviously, if it wasn't too out of reach for me, I'm pretty sure it's not too out of reach for anybody. I mean, I'm clumsy, and I injure myself less doing this than anything else, and there's sharp objects involved. So that's a plus. Trust me. So yeah. But basic tools we'll go over too before I forget, because I'm not sure. This is serious beading tool 101. This is a scoop and tweezers, excellent for separating or pulling something out of something. If you only want one bead out of it, oh, this will be perfect. There's a few beads in there. Say, I only want one of those beads. How do I get the one bead out? As soon as I I've never done this while trying to do it for a video, so hold on. This is actually more difficult when you're multitasking, apparently. But see? And, you just take the top of the scoop and don't push it down because you'll make beads fly everywhere. But you like gently, well, I guess we'll do it this way. That would have made more sense. You just gently, with it turned a little bit, this is very, very flat, and it's thin enough to scoop up even little beads. So if you're on a beading pad or something, I recommend something with a little rough surface, because if it's not a rough surface, there's a good chance it's just everything's going to go everywhere anyway, so it's not going to work as well. So just kind of gently put it like that and kind of brush it. I mean, last night I made beads fly. I was not trying to make the beads fly, but I went down like that and I was like, that is such a silly mistake to make. You know you're going to make the beads fly. So I'm going to give everybody the advice that nobody gave me before I started using a tool like this. Be gentle. Just kind of scoot them. Oh, shoot. I'm going to have to call it. My phone is not charging properly while on live. So I don't want it to die in the middle of a live. But I will be back Saturday. You got to make sure YouTube Saturday. So until then, everybody have a very wonderful night. Much love, many blessings, and I truly hope the rest of everybody's week is amazing and you find your own little magical excitement. Until then, until Saturday, have a blessed week, and bye-bye.